Hey y'all, what's up? Hey, this video gonna be a review about a deadly American marriage. I'm gonna just um react to it, and I'm gonna expose the narcissism and the wife name was Molly. I'm gonna just show you how I picked up on her narcissism like within the first 20 minutes of watching that documentary. And yeah, we just gonna go from there. All right, at the 3 minute mark, when you're watching it, she immediately plays the victim when she get in the interrogation room. You know, um, so she immediately portrays herself as the victim, and that's what narcissists always do. They always know how to spin the narrative and make themselves the victim, and that's what she did in the first 20 seconds of the interrogation that they showed you at the 3 minute mark on the documentary, a deadly American marriage. You know, she said her daughter had a nightmare and she woke up and it made her dad angry, her husband. It made her husband angry and he choked her because the kid. It don't even make sense, man. They always lying. Narcissists always lying, changing the narrative and spinning the story to make them the victim, make themselves the victim. All right, now at the 5 minute mark, she started telling her story about what happened. Now I can tell you that she 100% provoked that man. She provoked him and caused the physical fight. She probably hit him. She probably, I don't know, I can't tell you exactly what she did because I wasn't there, but she did something to provoke that man into a physical fight, and she knew because her dad and her mom was there, and that's what they do. They get you around other people, and they poke at you and provoke you to get you out your character, so then they can point at you and say, "Look, he's crazy," or "Look, he's abusive," or "Look, he's worse than this when you're not around." You know, this is what they do. It's called reactional abuse. If you look it up, you can Google it, whatever. It's gonna come up in a bunch of narcissist memes. You know, because this is what they do, and this is the spirit of majority of modern women, and it's some of them. It's some dudes like that too. You know them. When you in the streets, it's them ones that's trying to. They really want you to go to jail. That's all I'm gonna say. They really want you to go to jail and get you out the way. And that's it's a provoking spirit. You can you can look that up too. Search that. Google that. Provoking spirit. It's this video with young this young black guy. He got dreads. He a rapper and he be rapping about various topics. You know, like he got one about uh them different kind of nut milks, you know, like almond milk and stuff like that. He got a rap about that, but he rapping about the provoking spirit though, or he might just be talking about it. But hey, check that one out though, provoking spirit. But at the 5 minute mark, a deadly American marriage, she definitely provoked that man into a physical fight, knowing that her dad was there and her dad would come in and do something to her husband for her. Because this is what they do. It's like, maybe you've seen that video with the sister went and got her two brothers for her baby daddy, and they ran in the house, and he unalived one of them right there. That's what they do. They provoke people, and then they try to go get other people to do something to you for them. It's a provoking spirit, man. That's why you gotta watch who you around and who you choose to make your partner, because if they weak, if they weak minded, they'll let the devil jump on them, and the devil will use the person that you love against you. So, be careful with who you're dealing with. Okay, at the 5 minute mark, 25 seconds, they asked her how many times did she hit her husband, and she says she don't know. And then when it jumps to her father, he's saying he don't know. Now her father is a ex FBI agent, so he know all the ins and outs about being interrogated and how to avoid, uh, I guess you would say, detection or incriminating yourself. Yeah, he knows all about how to avoid incriminating yourself. So I'm pretty sure he coached his daughter on what to say and what not to say when they get to the interrogation room. I'm 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 100% sure of that, because you know you know how the devils move, man. They Edomites, but anyway, and right there at the 6 minute mark, right before the 6 minute mark, it showed them being getting a picture taken for evidence. You know, now the husband was beat so bad that part of his skull came out, and it was on a coffee table or something. You'll see when you watch it. Spoiler alert. But they didn't have no injuries on him. No injuries. They had their blood on him, on the dad. The dad had a lot of blood on him, and the daughter, she didn't look like somebody choked her, man. You know, she didn't look like how they portrayed the incident happened that resulted in them having to defend themselves by beating him to death. It just don't make sense. All right, at the 6 minute mark, 6 minutes 40 seconds, in the interrogation room, she being questioned, and she plays the victim again. She's scared of his family. She's scared they're gonna take the kids away. They not her kids. They're not her kids. She married him when he already had two children from his previous marriage, and the wife had a medical, uh, uh, she died from medical reasons, man. His first wife, and they're gonna try to spin that and use that too. You'll see, but yeah, she trying to play the victim. I'm scared of his family, like he's just this abuser, and his family is too. So she's scared of his family. This is what narcissists do, man. They always play the victim. They always play the victim, and they make everybody, they project. They're projecting, because she's the devil. She's a devil, and she's the devil in this documentary. You know, she's a covert narcissist. So that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a plain old narcissist, that's just conceited, loves their self, always in the mirror. You know, she's probably one of them too, but she's a covert narcissist. So if you want to research what I'm talking about, research covert narcissists. It's a lot of content out there about this um, mental illness because it's a lot of people waking up to it because it's happening to a lot of men and women. You know, it happened differently to women than men. You know, and what I've learned is how the female narcissists act, and in researching that, I hear women who've been abused by male narcissists, but it's like muddy waters though because a lot of these women be covert narcissists themselves, just playing the victim. All right, now Molly in the interrogation room, and she said she's scared of his family that they're gonna take the kids, and his family has every right because they're blood relatives, and she's not, and she didn't adopt them, and he wouldn't let her because he got hip to her. You know, he got hip to her husband. I forget his name, but he seemed like a stand up guy, man. Just a hard working man that want to take care of his family. That's what I got from him. You know, from everything that I could see, you know, everybody had something nice to say about him. He was a hardworking dude. He was a good father, successful businessman, and he seemed like one of the people a covert narcissist would prey on. You know, a good man who wife died. He got two kids, so she know he lonely. She younger than him, so she played on his weaknesses. And she played on him being a man, and she's young and I guess you could say attractive. You know, and so when you're dealing with a covert narcissist, they want to get the ball rolling in a relationship quick. They want to get far along in a relationship fast. So they want to get to sex quick. They want to get to marriage quick. They want to move in quick. They want to get pregnant right away. You know, that's what they want to do so they could get you get you get their hooks in you, so to speak. That's the word I'm looking for. The expression I'm looking for anyway. And she did that to him, and you could see it, and you could see it in the documentary when they started talking about the emails. You know, he was emailing her like, I'm kind of scared. I don't want to get too involved real quick because I got two children and they just lost their mom. She don't care about none of that. She didn't care about none of that. She didn't care about none of that. But what else I seen? She was lying about how they met. She lied about how they met. Yeah, so at the 10-minute mark, the night that they unalived this dude, his name is Jason. Uh, the mother wrote her statement talking about she woke up to a ruckus, and her husband, which is Molly Daddy, went upstairs to go see what was going on, and she rolled over and went back to sleep. Now that's straight hogwash. That's a load of garbage, straight garbage. No mother gonna wake up and hear her child arguing with their husband and just goes back to sleep. No mother's gonna do that. Yeah, Molly and her dad is wicked as hell, man. They evil, man. I think they was even faking CPR. When you get to that part at like 11 minutes, they start talking about, they play the tape of them counting in the background as they're supposed to be performing CPR on Jason, the husband that they just unalived. But it don't make sense, man, because they did it on purpose. And if you know they did it on purpose, they don't want to accidentally bring him back to life, which I think is impossible the way they described how badly he was beaten, though. Remember his piece, they said a piece of his skull fell out, so his brain was exposed. Man, it's just horrible, man. And what's worse is Molly got her dad a life sentence because of this, you know. But I think they got out. Yeah, they got out. Yeah, man. So deadly American marriage, man. Molly beat her husband so badly that when the investigator was describing it, he teared up. He teared up. That's how badly she beat him. Now, what I believe happened is he got hip to her abuse. Her abuse. He got hip to it. You know, there's a part in there where they went to a party and she was calling him fat and stuff in front of everybody. She was verbally abusing him. So he was making plans to cut and go back to Ireland because that's where they was from. Then she got him to move to America, and that's one thing narcissists like to do. They like to move you away from your friends and family. You know, your people who care about you, the people who will look out for you. Like I don't like the way she treating you. Like So yeah, she did that because he was finna leave. So she was gonna lose everything. No place to stay because she can't pay for the house. He was taking his money. You know, and the kids, he was gonna take the kids and everything and leave. Just go back to Ireland, and she couldn't have it. And you know how Edomites is. How they'll get you for some before you could divorce them, or to get the inheritance, or to get that life insurance money. You know what they'll do about that. That's in their mo. Them. So yeah, she chose to unalive him rather than him divorce her and leave with the children. I don't know what. I don't know why she just, like, she act like she deserved those children, like those are hers. That I found that part weird. I don't care how long you was married. You know, they made your children at the end of the day. If you still with the man, then that's cool. Play your role or whatever. But when he died and under some weird circumstances, and you trying to keep the kids from his family, like when he passed away, or when they unalived him, she was keeping his children from his own family and made it so they couldn't see his body. You know, like that's suspicious. Like she was trying to hide the evidence, and bury the truth. Now, when you get to the part where they had a specialist come and question the children about the incident that night, you could just tell that those children was coached because they kept the story. Their view was biased, and it made their dad the bad guy, and they was using words that children don't use, like verbally abusive and physically abusive. No kid says that. No child says that. And it was just, you could just tell it was coached, man. Like, I was on the fence at this part, like wondering what happened. I really thought like maybe dude was abusive, and they defended themselves, and I was on the fence at this point, and because of how they presented it in the preview and stuff, it made it seem like it's up in the air, it could go either way. All I know is from the preview that he lost his life, but once I heard them children's story, I was like, okay, they got coached. They got coached when they said that part. I was on there. That part threw up a red flag, and um how she was crying in the interview, how Molly cried in the interrogation room, red flag, man. Red flag. And what else? What else? Oh, the kid's story was almost identical to what the mama said in the interrogation room about the daughter had a nightmare and woke dad up, and it made him angry, and that's how the fight started. And the kids said that same story. So that didn't sit right with me. Like, somebody was lying. You could tell somebody was lying at that point. Okay, another red flag was the little girl. His daughter told the investigators that Molly told her dad is not a good dad. Like, why would, like, who talks to children like that? Like, that's just wrong. And you're not the their birth mom. And this is what female narcissists do. They triangulate friends and family against you. You know, so she said that to the little girl to try to pit that little girl against her daddy to get the little girl on her side, like female to female, you know. That's what they do. You can look it up. So it's called triangulation and flying monkeys. You look that up. And I just noticed, going back over it, that the daddy lied and said that the guy Jason that they unalived, that he was like some violent boxer, MMA guy, just hoping that they would just take his word for it because he was a former FBI agent. So he was trying to use his influence and lie on the man, and just hopefully they'll take his word for it and won't do no research or whatever. So to help it justify how how violently that they beat him to death. Okay, this threw another red flag for me. When they introduced Molly, she said she was in a relationship for several months and unexpectedly got pregnant. When you know anything about covert narcissists, you know they trying to get pregnant right away. They trying to move in right away. They trying to get married right away. They trying to have sex right away. They trying to get you to spend money on them right away. You know, all of these things. They want you to get invested right away. You know, take me to a 5-star restaurant and I just met you. You know, pay my rent and I just met you. You know, buy me this and that. Buy me groceries and this our first date. You know, this is our first date, but I want to order a bunch of take home for my kids because I really got another man at home. You know, but then she say I had realized when I got pregnant that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life with this guy. Red flag, red flag. You know, they be trying to get pregnant and get that child support. You know, that's what they be doing. So there's a lot of them out there that do that on purpose. He was a successful, not the guy she got pregnant by this time. I don't know who she was pregnant by because they didn't go into it. But when she met Jason, she already knew he had some money because he could afford to hire a nanny. That's how she came into play. His first wife died, medical reasons. So he advertised for a nanny and got this damn devil, Molly. Excuse me. Yeah, she's a devil, man. Covert narcissist. Textbook. Learn about it. Trust me. Uh, yeah, more red flags when they introduce Molly is her choice of words. Her choice of words was she unexpectedly got pregnant and then she realized she didn't want to spend her life with the person she just got pregnant by. And then she said, I wanted to get away. I had to get away. Like she was a victim. You know, they always try to make themselves the victim. So it wasn't just that she was unhappy and she wanted something else and she wanted to move on. No, she had to get away. It's her choice of words, man. They always paint themselves the victim and they never take accountability for their actions. That's why she said I unexpectedly got pregnant. You know, they never take accountability for nothing, man. It's always a mishap, somebody else's fault. You know, I was drunk. He caught me drunk, and I slept with him. It's always some excuse, man. Yeah. So she said, Molly said, Jason reached out to her for the nanny position, and he indicated he just lost his wife and he had 2 kids, and that just pulled on her heartstrings. No, she saw a vulnerable guy she could take advantage of because she was looking to get into a life where she didn't have to work, where she could just be a stay at home mom to some kids that she didn't have to give birth to. I'm telling you, man, this lady is a devil, man. She a devil. Her and her daddy. Her and her daddy, man. You check the documentary out if you ain't seen it, man. And then after you watch it, come back and watch this again. But she's a devil, man. A devil of a woman, a devilish woman, and a damn devil. Molly. Yeah. Her and her daddy. They some lying devils, man. Another red flag. when she got to Ireland, she came from America for the job and went to Ireland for Jason and his daughters. Now, she's going for a job interview. And when she said, when I got there, he put me at ease. So she's already sizing him up for a significant other, a boyfriend, a husband, a companion. She wasn't looking at him as no boss. You know, they going on dates and stuff. Like, you there to take care of the kids. Why is you you know, getting involved with the daddy, you know? Take the kids off his hand, let that man grieve. But her plan was to seduce him the whole time. That was her plan the whole time. Okay, at the like the 28-minute mark, this is when I knew Molly was 100% a covert narcissist. I was positive at this point. I wasn't on the fence. At first, I was like, okay, she's giving off signals that she's a narcissist. But when I got to this part, I knew, because they lie and paint and talk themselves up to other people, hoping that the truth don't come out. So after she got them to move to America, because I'm pretty sure it was her idea to move to America, to move him away from his family. So they moved to America, and then his family came to America to attend the wedding. So his sister, I think her name Tracy, she was talking to the bridesmaid, and Molly told the bridesmaid, I take it the bridesmaid was her friend. She told the bridesmaid how she had went to Ireland to be Jason's children's godmom, because her and his dead wife was childhood friends. And Tracy was like, no, she was the nanny. They call it the au pair. So I learned that term. They call it the au pair. But she was the nanny. So I'm like, why you just lying about your history, like you knew this woman when she was alive. That right there, I knew she was a narcissist, because that's what they do. And then that point right there, I was almost positive that they murdered. That they unalived dude. That they unalived Jason. At that point, I was like, okay, she unalived her husband. Yeah. So what made me what also made me positive that she was a narcissist is she started telling people that Molly started telling people that she gave birth to Jason's daughter. She started telling people that knew that them wasn't her children. And it's weird. Like, that's weird. That's weird, you know. When you just think about it, lying about sleeping with somebody is one thing, but lying about giving birth to a child, like, that's why it's a mental illness, man. And I hope a bunch of guys seen this damn documentary and mark her, because whoever end up with her, she gonna suck them dry. She gonna suck the bank account dry, or she gonna do it again and try to get away with it. And she gonna do it again, try to get away with it. And you'll be a goofball for falling for her. Okay, I just wanted to add during the retrial or the after they appealed, they found evidence that Jason was going to the doctor and telling the doctor that he found himself getting angry lately for no reason. And I'm gonna tell you this is a symptom of narcissistic abuse. They'll have you thinking that you're getting angry for nothing because you're not realizing the manipulation and the reactional abuse that they're doing to you, because you so blinded by the fact that, okay, this is your significant other, this is this person's supposed to love you, that they would never do what they're doing. But when it's happening, you can't. When I researched it, all of the victims of narcissistic abuse say you don't know it's happening to you until afterwards. So, they'll tell you that you did something that you didn't do, but they provoked you to act out of character. And they'll make up lies and say that you did things that you didn't do. And so they make you doubt yourself. When you research it, you'll find this out. So she had him convinced that he was getting angry for no reason, but the whole time she was provoking him and poking at him, insulting him. Like I said, they was at the party and she was calling him fat. He started realizing that she don't really love him, so he was ready to just leave and go back to Ireland, and that's why she unalived him, because he was finna take everything from her. He was the breadwinner. It was his children. He's finna take her whole life, and narcissists hate to be exposed. So this is another thing. This is how I know, because she was lying, telling people he was abusing her, and she didn't know what to do. And somebody told her to put up a camera or put listening devices or something. So she put listening devices and cameras in strategic spots where she would sit, and she only turned it on after she provoked him and he started acting out of character. You only hear his reaction. You don't hear the stuff that she was doing to him to made him act like that. Like when you see a viral video on the internet of an incident and it just shows what the person did and it don't show how it led up to that situation. All of her little video snippets that they play in the documentary, it's all him reacting to her, and then you could just hear her saying little stuff to keep furthering his reaction. You can tell she was provoking him, you know. At least I know. Anyway, I just wanted to add that in there. Yeah, in conclusion, man, I wholeheartedly believe that Molly and her father unalived Jason Corbett, and whether her daddy know or not, she used him to get it done so she could take his children and play mommy, and cause that's just weird. You know, you done unalive this dude, and now after the courts took the kids and gave them back to his family, you trying to fight to get another man's kids and take them away from his family? Like, that's weird. It's just weird. It's weird. You know, maybe people think because she was married to him that she has a right to take his children away from their family. You know, that westernized marriage, but it's weird to me. It's weird to me. And how they lied and tried to use his first wife's death against him after he was dead, and said he unalived his first wife. Like, she didn't die from the medical reasons. Like, he killed her. Like, them people evil, man. I'm glad them children got away from that woman, that devil, and her father. Them people is evil, man. For real. That's my reaction to the documentary. You know, it's more of the documentary left. It's still like an hour left, but I already seen it, and I don't want to spoil it too much. But I just wanted to point out the narcissism of Molly. She's a narcissist, definitely a narcissist. You know, and I advise all men that's dating, looking for a wife or girlfriend, to research covert narcissism before you end up with one.